Hi everybody, it's Liam here from Biggerplate.com, joining you today from the beautiful and slightly windy beach town of Muizenberg, South Africa, and sharing mind mapping tips with our global member community. Now recently, during a conversation with one of our members, he mentioned that a tip I shared a long time ago in a webinar had really helped him when he was presenting and sharing his mind maps to other people in his business, particularly those who may be less familiar with mind mapping as a technique. So that made me think I should share that tip again more broadly, but also think about any other pieces of advice I might have for you based on what I've learned over the years about presenting and sharing mind maps with others. So let's take a look. So here we are looking at a mind map that I present regularly to clients and Biggerplate members because it's part of our training program. So it's a good mind map to demonstrate the 3 tips that I want to share with you. So tip number 1, collapse the mind map before you begin. Probably the most important tip, and the tip that prompted this video, was to always ensure you collapse the mind map fully down to just the main headings before you display it in front of other people. Now, if you start with more information in the map on display, perhaps like this, you run the risk of overwhelming people with the amount of information on the screen. And this is particularly true if they're not familiar with seeing information organized in a mind map format. Not only this, but you may also distract people from what you want them to focus on, because they may see pieces of information over in this section of the mind map that may take their attention away from the section that you want to talk about, which might be over here. Now, if all they can see are the big headings, it means you as the presenter have greater control over the focus of your audience and where the attention goes as you explore the mind map. So before you put your mind map up on the screen and in front of people, just collapse everything down to those first level main headings and go from there. Now, my second tip is to build and read mind maps clockwise. Now, what I mean by that is, if as you look at this mind map, you imagine a clock face, and build your mind map as if you're moving around the clock from the 1 or 2 o'clock position up here in the top right, all the way around to the 11 o'clock position over here in the top left. Now, why do this? Well, remember that for you, information organized in a mind map structure might be very familiar, but again, for others, this could be the first time they've ever seen a mind map, and they may not really know how to interpret or engage with information that's not in the more familiar linear sequential format like a Word document or PowerPoint slides. So if when you put your mind map up on the screen, you can tell your audience that all they need to do is simply read the topics clockwise from the top right position, this 1 or 2 o'clock position on the clock face, and move around the map like so, you give your audience an immediate familiar reference point to help guide them in making sense of what they're looking at. Now, to help people further, you could even number your main topics, starting here with number 1 and adding numbers clockwise right around to the end, which gives people another clear prompt about how to read the content in this mind map and, importantly, the order in which you plan to present this information to them. Finally, tip number 3, as you present and explore the mind map content, you want to avoid the risk that people get distracted by topics that you've already covered, or overwhelmed by the growing amount of information that's visible on the screen. So my third and final tip, once you've covered a topic in your discussion and in your mind map, I recommend just collapsing it down again before you move on to the next topic. Think of it like closing the door behind you. For example, if we've been exploring this area of the mind map in our meeting, but we're ready to move on to the next section, I will just close these branches away so that they're no longer visible as we move on. Now, of course, it's very easy to go back and open those up again, but unless we need or want to, let's keep that content out of sight as we move into other areas of the mind map. So there you have it, 3 simple tips to keep in mind when presenting or showing your mind maps to other people. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any mind mapping questions that you need help with, then let us know in the comments below or drop us an email via biggerplate.com, and we'll do what we can to help you go further with mind mapping.